if you like the game for what it is and everything and playing it, fine. Okay, go ahead. If you're enjoying it, I'm happy for you. But if you're trying to justify why you like the game and everything to other people, to me, what that says is that tells me not why you enjoy the game. That tells me why you want other people to think you enjoy the game.
The way to celebrate.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Autumn Colors Podcast, the podcast that comes with edible cats for all your existentialism. I'm your host, the conductor of this show, the Sozo-sha, and today I'm joined with the copyright-free Harley Quinn, Scion.
Hello! You really have to throw me with the Harley Quinn, huh?
Like, that was the first thought I thought of when, like, you realized that the Trailblazer could get a bat. It's just, oh, so we're doing Harley Quinn now.
Yeah. Nice choice of weapon when you're talking with me.
Yeah. So, yeah, if it isn't obvious from the brief to everyone, yes, today we're going to be talking about Honkai Star Rail. And pretty much we are going to go through a majority of what, just exploring what we've, our experiences with it, as well as some stuff that's surfaced and due to the community. Yeah, pretty much. And, yeah, so, but first thing before we get into all of that, I do want to ask, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. I mean, the jitters have gone away, and clearly I have one of my parents is here for a while until she goes away, so I'm doing well.
Okay, alright. Yeah. Personally, I'm actually doing pretty alright in the grand scheme of things. A lot better than I have been doing prior, but I've been doing pretty decently.
That's good.
Alright. Alright, so I think with that out of the way, I think we can get into the meat of things. So, ultimately, in regards to Honkai Star Rail, would you like to give some context in terms of, like, how you discovered it, your first experiences, like, sort of like when you were getting into the game or when you were starting to hear about the game, like, your thoughts on it? Sion?
Sorry, my mom came in.
Oh.
Anyways, I discovered Honkai from Star Rail basically on the internet, because during the time I was well into Genshin Impact and another game called Hatsune Miku Colorful Stage, which is like a ribbon game, which is also a gacha game. Mm-hmm. Pretty much I thought it's made by MiHoYo or HoYoverse. It's gonna be like, oh, it's gonna be another Genshin. So I tried it out, realized how wrong I completely was. I found out that most of my friends have been playing the game. Hell, even one of my friends, before like giving the server, his server to another friend, had a dedicated channel dedicated for Honkai Star Rail.
Okay.
So pretty much, yeah, because of all that, I fell in love with Honkai.
Okay.
Yeah,
personally for me, it's no secret that I came into this game pretty late. It was at the tail end of 2023, and it was sometime after, so it was like previously before this, a lot of people already know this, I used to be into Genshin Impact. I played that game since 2020 when it released on PS4. I loved it and everything until it went in a direction ultimately where it was just like this, it doesn't feel rewarding on my time or anything, so I left it. And when I heard about Honkai Star, that's when I started to hear about Honkai Star Rail, and I was like, I don't really know if I want to get into that, because it's made by the same company, so I was expecting, it's not necessarily just Genshin but Honkai, but more so like Genshin's practices in Honkai. That's what I was afraid of. And like, the more I heard about it, the more I hear, like, different content creators who are playing the games and everything, the more I hear it's like, no, there are things that a lot of people have been criticizing Genshin about that are getting answered with Honkai Star Rail. And then I heard about various, like, different rewards, like, with every update, people get 10 pulls. And I'm like, this actually sounds really interesting. I just wasn't too sure if I wanted to commit to it yet. But I heard all these good things about it. And then the Game Awards happened when they won their category. And I made the joke of, like, yeah, Honkai players enjoy your free 5-star. And I was joking. I didn't actually realize they were getting a free 5-star. I was like, huh. Yeah, I'll be honest. Giving away a free 5-star, yeah, I probably would immediately be into Honkai myself. So...
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. I was just like, oh, it's probably gonna be on like a 4-star. Nope! Yeah, 5-star! Ladies and gentlemen!
Oh, man. Oh, man. It was like, just, the one thing I think ultimately that held me back from being Honkai was...
so loud.
The one thing
that was from my mom's.
Okay. The one thing that held me back from... That's fine, it's fine, I understand. The one thing that held me back from getting into Honkai ultimately was technical difficulties, because at the time, like, my setup and everything, I was living in a prior house, I didn't have, like, easy connection and everything, and at the time, we were also moving, so I couldn't just jump onto Honkai if I really wanted to and everything, and then there was also difficulties with the internet, all that. Yeah, there was difficulties with the internet, and then it was just like, I had heard this rumor, and I realized I was not unfounded. I heard that this game was also coming out for PS4. When I had actually gotten the PS4 in my new place, and I hooked it up right and everything, I was like, alright, now I got internet, first thing I'm gonna do, download Honkai Star Rail. Turns out, yeah, they, Hoyoverse reneged on the PS4 port, and I guess it's just not coming. So, that was a shame. But then I was like, okay. So, I just tried it on my tablet. I was like, okay, how does this fare on a tablet? It's a turn-based strategy game. It's not like an open-world game like Genshin. How does this fare? Because my tablet can handle punching Grey Rift pretty fine. I'm like, okay, so how does it handle Honkai Star Rail? I tried it, and it just, like, even at low quality, this game was beautiful, it was responsive, it was legitimately, I could tell exactly already at the start why so many people are invested into this game, and it was just, like, just the different characters you could try out and everything, especially Himiko. It was so, like, I was legitimately in love with it, and then I was like, okay, how does this fare on my PC? I tried it. This game fares so much better than, like, Genshin Impact on my PC, and then I could not stop playing it, to the point where I binged for an entire week to get through the story and everything, and now I'm, like, all caught up on, like, Honkai Star Rail, and, yeah, like, it was just, like, it's just a game I just can't find myself, like, stop playing, and it's like, it's even after I've gotten to this point, I've pretty much gotten to the end game now. It's even at that point where it's just like, no, I actually do like it, because the reward system, like, just the gameplay loop, it feels legitimately like, I feel like my time is worth it. And when it came to ultimately the free 5-star and everything, I tried him out, and yeah, I wanted to save this for later, but yeah, a lot of the quote-unquote controversy around him, yeah, a lot of people are wrong about it. He's fucking broken. He's
definitely broken.
I have him at no other Eidolons, no other copies. He's fucking broken, and I love him so much. That pompous doctor, I love him so much.
Yeah, he's freaking cool. I have him currently on my team. I have him, like, most of his traits. He's just broken altogether. Oh yeah,
100%. It took me, like, less than a day, I think, to get him up to where most of my characters are. And I have not regretted building him at all. Like, I think supposedly they said, like, oh, well, he actually gets a set in, like, 2.1 or whatever, but I just put, like, a set of whatever relics and relics and, like, light cones and whatnot on him that I had. Yeah, he works fine enough. And I think that's...
Yeah.
It's just... It surprises me how well put this character is. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, man. So...
He's basically one of my top favorite characters currently at the moment. Number one being Silverwolf. Duh.
Yeah. So, ultimately, I have been talking a little bit about it, but in terms of, like, the game so far, how do you feel about it?
I have fun with it, honestly, because, like, I'm almost all up to date with it. I just need to complete the free orange, like, special quests that they launched with the game. So, very difficult considering I am currently Trailblazer 44, and I'm well way behind. I have a thing called procrastination. Yeah, basically I have a lot of fun with the game. I had a lot of fun with the simulated universe. I haven't really played into the Forgotten Hole, but overall I enjoy the game a lot. I can see why people like it.
Yeah. It surprised me. Like, I would have never guessed that this game had a roguelike in it. Like, simulated universe is so much fun. I already love Hades, Cult of the Lamb. Like, the fact that this game has just a roguelike mode that you can just join in and just, like, go through these different, like, modes and worlds and everything. It's so fun. It's so satisfying. Like, the different buffs, the different buffs, the different skills you can just grab. And it's just like, oh god, it's just, I love it so much. But aside from that, I mean, like, I think what really impressed me is just, like, how, just the setup of the story and everything. Because, you know, where, basically with Honkai, what I love about Star Rail is just the premise of it going throughout the universe and coming across these different planets and fixing their issues. And it's just like, it really feels like it really feels like Cowboy Bebop in its own way, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah, exactly. It reminds me so much of Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah. And
except completely different.
It's Cowboy Bebop, and it's just like, oh my god, when I was playing through it, I think what really I'd say was ultimately a plus for me is that if, like, no two planets felt alike. Where, so far, I mean, like, I imagine in 2.1 we are getting a new world. I imagine that. But with the worlds we got so far, which is basically in Hoyoverse tradition, it is Europe, and then it's also Asia. But like, with the worlds that they have, like, it's not just countries here abide by their own rules. No, it is, like, worlds that have their own systems. Like, Uriel 6 has its own system of, like, its own kingdom where it oppresses, like, this underground, and just the amount of story to it, the amount of, secretive, like, lore that it tries to hide and everything. The amount of, like, different characters that come across that not only really look good, but at times actually sound legitimately, like well written. Like, in terms of the first world, I think Hook is, like, the best example of writing a kid character.
Yes, thank you!
Yeah.
Hook is generally one of the best written child characters I have come across recently.
Yeah, like, he's, like, the thing I love of it is just, like, she's a brat, but at the same time, she's a brat in, like, a redeeming way, like an adorable way. It's just like, yeah, she talks a big game and everything. She talks like she's the best and all, but at the same time, that's how kids operate. That's how kids deal. And it's just like, you can tell that she's not she's not incredibly annoying to the point where it's insufferable, but she's annoying to the point where it's just like, yeah, she's putting on an act, but at the same time, you could also tell that she cares about the people in her life. Like, legitimately, she has, like, the things where, I think one thing I liked was playing a quest where it's like, she was taking the teddy bear that she had, like, known all her life and then just selling it off, and at first I was like, okay. But then I realized, no, she wants to, like, help her dad, and I'm like, okay, you know what, that's adorable, that's cute, that's wholesome, I love it. And
yes.
Yeah, and it's just, like, that level of character writing in this is just commendable to me, and I really enjoy it.
One thing is that, like, Honkai knows how to write characters very well, unlike their previous game, Genshin Impact.
Yes, Genshin Impact is, and we'll get into more of it later, but I just want to notice, like, Genshin Impact has, like, it knows how to make, like, open world well, but it lacks in the story and everything else. But with Honkai Star Rail, it's kind of the inverse, where it's like the world feels like small-scaled, but at the same time, like, what makes up for it is like the story, the characters, just the lore.
Yeah, I'm really now since I'm very. I really want to know, like, the lore behind it.
Yeah, you're kind of
how it connects with.
You're kind of cutting out bit by bit.
Oh, Australian internet! Why do you do this to me? What the fuck? Anyway, I really want to delve into the lore of Honkai of Star Rail and how it connects with Honkai Impact 3, one of their, like, first games.
Yeah.
And especially with Welt Yang. He basically comes from the Honkai Impact world. He basically just, like, I'm gonna go to this world to protect Himiko and leave my wife and kid behind. Bye bye. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah. I think personally, what I really found interesting about this game was just not just its characters, but also it's just like, for me personally, it's easy to tell who I like out of this game and who I don't necessarily like out of this game. Like, off the bat, I'm just gonna say it, I don't care for Kafka. I just don't care for Kafka. But when it came to...
Understandable!
Yeah, when it came to Natasha, I actually, like, legitimately, if you, like, in terms of who's the better mommy character, Natasha's a better mom character. Like, she actually seems like a genuine mom, whereas Kafka is the, if it's still 2020 and you're just discovering VTubers type mommy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting off of the moment I got introduced to Kafka. Literally, she's just like, okay, she's a VTuber.
Yeah.
But one of those mommy VTubers. Jesus Christ.
Yes, that's literally it. And I think that we can move on, since we're talking about more of the sort of the shortcomings of it. Let's talk about so in the grand scheme of things, what are your biggest criticisms about Honkai Star Rail?
Well, basically, they don't give out too much information. Also, they don't give out less information. Other than that, locking most of that quest behind certain Trailblazer levels, it sort of really works out my procrastination a bit.
Mm-hmm.
One of my major criticisms is in the, I don't know how loud or how quiet their music can be during some fights.
Mm-hmm.
Just putting it out there, because there's this one, I'm giving out spoilers by the way, during the Cocolia fight in Jaro 6, the final fight, they turned up the music real freaking loud.
Yeah, you can barely hear Cocolia.
Yeah. We'll admit the song is a bit of a jam, but it's too freaking loud.
Yeah. For me personally... Oh, you still going?
Oops. No, you can keep going. I finished.
Okay, yeah. For me personally, I think what ultimately, I've kind of, like, not necessarily come to enjoy about it is that in the game is, the way the leveling system works is that you can still, like, level up, but, like, your world level is something that, is, like, will continuously, it needs to be unlocked through doing, like, certain trials, a la, like, Genshin Impact and whatnot does this too, but the difference between, like, I would say, like, Genshin and Honkai Star Rail in that regard, is that with Honkai Star Rail, is that if I wanted to sort of level up my characters in the grand scheme of things, the trade-off is I can do that, but it becomes, like everything else becomes that much more, difficult, and when you're on a free-to-play account, like me, at some point, it feels a little bit like it feels a little bit like the game just wants me at a standstill and wants to prevent me from going any further, so that like it feels in a sense of like in terms of like Genshin Impact, it feels like it overcorrected with the leveling system and the grinding and everything to the point where it kind of drains my like enthusiasm to continue playing at times, to where it's just like, oh well, everything's too fucking strong now. I can't necessarily like get past this, and this game isn't letting me like strengthen up too much ultimately. And
yeah,
I kind of feel like that is to me a bigger criticism the more I play through it, is that as the game goes on, as I progress through it, it feels like it feels like world level and everything, and honestly, like ascending characters, it really feels like that should operate on different levels as opposed to like sort of what the game's doing. But at the same time, I mean, what I do, like, I guess in the grand scheme of things, it's not too big of a deal right now, considering that I'm sort of like caught up with the story and everything, so it's not too big of a deal right now. But for some of those events, like, I really feel how far back I am. Like, some of the most recent events are like, yeah, you have to rank up, you have to get like a certain amount of points in this, and like I level up my characters and everything, and I can actually feel just how like minuscule my account is at times. And on one hand, I understand, you know, it's a game more intended for people who want to build their characters and want to pay off, but at the same time, it also feels like it doesn't really, it feels a little too gatekeeping in a way for me.
Yeah, I feel the same way since I'm also on a free-to-play account. Yeah, it's pretty much, there's like some instances where they just like, hey, here.
You okay?
And it's like, it stresses me.
I'm
I'm my Trailblazer level in like Simulated Universe.
You're cutting it in and out again.
God damn it! Australian it! God damn it!
I don't know, maybe try going through settings and then like moving your mic to 0. I don't know if that'll work. Or not mic to 0, like moving like how, like just how much noise your Discord will take in for your microphone.
I'm just gonna hold my phone, like my phone really close to me.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, I feel the same way, because even in terms of things, there's like some quests that like you can easily access, but also they have to be like, oh, you have to be level 58 or level, and your world level is just like 4. I have to literally like grind my Trailblazer level to get to, so I could just complete the quest.
Yeah.
That is one of my like major gripes with the game, other than the music. The music's really good. They just don't know how to turn up or turn down, depending on when the story is happening.
Yeah. Off the top of my head, like, I think that's it for right now because, the game, I think, is still relatively new. I think it is just, like, if I recall, it's coming up on its 1-year anniversary, so, like, there's not a whole lot to talk about, but, I would say, personally for me, that is my biggest criticism.
Yeah.
In terms of, on the other end, in terms of, praises, I know we were doing this earlier, but is, like, anything specific you want to praise about the game?
The gameplay mechanics, the music, the world, just how they designed the worlds in general. It's just, and how they make it interesting in terms of story, as well as I'm going in a bit of my artist mode, but the art style looks really, really cool.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Yeah. Honestly, speaking of the art style, I love the character design in this so much. They are just... one of the characters I just absolutely loved how they designed for her. I loved Serval's design. Like, she was so fucking good. And it also helps that she's one of the best lightning characters in the game.
Yes! I had her in my team, like, very, very early on, in the beginning of the game. Yeah, no kidding, she's really good.
Yeah. And when it comes to ultimately, like, in terms of praises, like, I know I was on about, like, sort of, like, just the level requirement system and everything, and just how, like, crushing hard this game can get, but that aside, I mean... Leveling up, getting traits, getting, like, materials and everything, it feels like I legitimately have more, like, time to actually go through that, and more, more I can actually, like, obtain through these rewards and everything. It feels legitimately more rewarding going through this, and... Like, and on top of that, just how it handles its energy system. Like, with Trailblazer energy, it goes up to, like, I think about 240, but then they also have, like, hey, if you haven't been playing for a long while, we also have this reserve here where you can just exchange that. And then they also, next to that, they also have, like, certain items you can recharge your energy, and also its storage aid. I like just how this is handling it, because it feels legitimately like this game wants me to continue playing, and it actually is, like, giving me the tools to actually do that. That's what I really like. Next to that...
Yeah.
Sorry, next to that...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Next to that, the enemies, like, vary in difficulty. Like, I actually legitimately feel like there is actual, like, difficulty, and I feel like... I feel like this game actually tries to challenge me on my intellect and how I actually go about playing the game. Like, some of the biggest, some of the most biggest annoyances in this game are the fucking beetles. And they, like, are just, like, if you don't deal with them correctly, they just get more and more, they're just, like, they split off by mitosis, and they get more and more annoying, so on and so forth. And, like... Honestly, like, this is a part of why I love the fact that they gave out a Dr. Ratio, is that he just deals with that shit easily.
Yeah.
And...
Yeah. Those beetles freaking annoyed me, man.
Yeah. The fact that, like, your trial mission for Dr. Ratio is literally just dealing with those beetles is just, like, it's just... That cemented me in my mind as, oh yeah, he's a really good character. And actually putting him to the test, not just with that, but also with stuff that generally I could not be able to beat, like, early on or anything. Like, Stellar Universe, in one of the worlds, I forget which one, but they let you go, but they have you go against Kafka in the final round. And I try it with all my other characters, I get to the last phase, and she obliterates my team. I put the moment I put a built Dr. Ratio on there and go through it, he's doing significant amount of damage, he's breaking her shields, and ultimately it feels so satisfying, like, legitimately. Like, the fact that they were giving up this character for free, it just boggles my mind. Oh my god, is this actually felt like legitimately enjoyable character, and it felt, and like legitimately this feels like this game rewards me more if I actually know how my characters work. It rewards me more if I don't just hit things until they die and then just pop my ultimate. It rewards me more if I actually understand how my characters work, if I understand the flow of battle, if I understand who should use more of the skills next. It feels like it rewards me more if I actually take that into account instead of just blindly hitting shit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, I've gotten used to how to use Silverwolf's, like, weakness implant, like, skill. How to use Gepard's, like, shields, and, like, how to heal when my characters really need it. So at the beginning, I just literally just, like, beat the crap out of everyone. But then I started to master the characters I currently have. So, like, maybe when I, like, place the skill weakness on that enemy, let the Gepard do a lot of damage, then ult. If I have enough gauge to it. Yeah, I basically mastered like most of my characters I currently have on my team.
Yeah. There are. I mean, in terms of like characters, I mean, there's a lot of them, but it's just like what I like about them is just how individual they feel. Like even characters that play similar or in the same class, there's a way they operate. There's a way there's conditions that they have to meet. Like, for example, March 7th, for instance. Like, yeah, she has follow-up attacks, but she has follow-up attacks and everything, but she can only do it if you have characters with a shield, which, going with the fact that you can get the fact that a protagonist actually gets an ability that gives off shields to everybody, that's actually a pretty good combination. But other than that, I mean, like, you have other characters like Herta, who, if the enemies are like I believe if their health is at less than 50%, she just does an AoE attack. Like, the fact that there are characters that go off of like more unique ways to attack other enemies and everything, or unique ways to support characters, is interesting to me. And it makes and this sort of unique asset in its own way, while yes, there is power creep to this game, that unique asset to its own way actually, to me, makes it feel more like, even if you don't have the newest 5-star, this newest character, these other characters can suffice fine. That's what I like about it.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, I can't. Why does my mind always do this to me? God damn it! I had something to say, but then they literally just went no.
Yeah, I know how that feels.
Yeah.
I think, but ultimately, yeah, this game does a lot of good, and I'll say, I think one of my biggest praises to this, I love the fact that this game has a music player. I love the fact that this game lets you go re-listen to music that you heard throughout the game. I love it.
Yes. Yeah. Not even kidding. I have Wildfire, which is Kokolia's like boss music, currently playing on the music player.
Yeah. I think when I first started, it was just Take the Journey, because that track fucking slaps. But then it was Wildfire, and since I've beaten the latest story, it has been what are the tracks you can find on Ciencho, but it's a really nice serene track, and I like it. But
yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I also like that. So I think one of my biggest like worries when it came to the idea of like going through different worlds is that these characters pretty much, they would make an impression in the worlds you live in, and then in the worlds you just visit and everything, and then they just disappear for the rest of the story or just never be seen again. Now, I actually like the fact that depending on what missions you do, depending on these different side quests, you can actually get certain characters that are playable throughout the game. You can actually just get them to visit the train. And I think that's legit. Yeah. I really like that. I really like that this game goes, no, if you actually play through the game, if you play through these different quests and everything, no, you can actually see the characters you wanted to see prior.
I basically almost got every character that could be able to be visiting the train.
Yeah. I also, oh my god, that reminds me, I think, for myself personally, I think I locked myself out of getting 2 particular characters, I think, on the train. And that was something fascinating that I didn't realize what this game was doing. So, after you beat, like, the final boss in the Xianqiu, and you deal with the funeral session and everything, I believe the game gives you an invitation where Kafka wants you to follow her and meet her up at some cafe or at some place. And I was like, legitimately, I was just in the mindset of, I don't care about Kafka, so I was just like, yeah, I don't care, I don't want anything to do with you, yada yada yada. And I was just wondering, how far can I take this? Pretty goddamn far, honestly, because the game at some point goes, look, Kafka at some point goes, look, I respect your decision and everything, even though ultimately fate is redetermined and everything, we can't escape our destinies, but if you legitimately think you can't escape, there's the door. Feel free to walk out. And it's just like, alright, okay, goodbye. The game gives me an option. Okay, so you can either stick with her and see what she has to say, or you can just walk away. I didn't realize walking away actually just gives me all of the rewards and everything. I just didn't realize that. I just went with that, and I that was one of the best moments out of the fucking game for me. I love that. It's just... Upon every other game that I've played in the RPG scene, I love the fact that this is one of the few that legitimately goes, no, your choices actually do matter. And it's just legitimately... Oh. You okay?
My Discord decided to glitch.
Yeah, I just saw your icon just disappear.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like I was saying, with this game, it's like, I've played a number of RPGs, and this is one of the few where it's legitimately, it felt like my choices actually mattered. And when it came, like, even other games that do it pretty decently and make other multiple choices, it feels, at times, with the multiple choices, just like, it feels too one note at times. Like, this is, like, for as much as I love Persona, this is something I have criticism about with Persona, because vast majority of the time it is, like, just the same answer you just have to say 3 times in a row. There's rarely ever an option to go, like, with a different answer that changes the course of the game. But Honkai Star Rail, no, they add that, and I actually like that. Hell, I actually heard apparently prior, I think in a beta, where you could choose not to get on the train and the game just ends.
Oh my god, really?
Apparently that was in a beta. They've taken that out apparently, but that is I don't know. That would have been I think that would have been funny to keep, but at the same time it's just like I think I enjoy just hearing about that alone. But yeah. Aside from that, I mean, ultimately this game is just it's been a joy for the most part. Yeah, it does have its shortcomings and its downsides, but ultimately I've just been having a lot more fun playing this game, and honestly, I've had a lot more enjoyment, like, wishing for characters, honestly. Like, rolling for characters is just... But, except for... Okay, I will say this. I find it a little bit of a middle finger-esque type treatment when the one character I didn't want to... the one 5-star character I didn't want in this entire game, Kafka, she apparently came to me in the first 10 pull. Meanwhile, it took me 300 pulls to get Himiko.
Yeah.
I kind of fucking hate. I kind of fucking hate that Hoyoverse. Like, I hate the fact that you give me the one character I legitimately did not care for. It feels a little too much. It feels a little too much like you knew what the fuck you were doing.
Then Hoyer just like, this person doesn't seem to have Kafka. Well, here you go.
Oh, you like Himiko? Guess what, fucker? Yeah. On that note, honestly, what are your favorite characters?
Obviously, Silverwolf. Not even kidding. Silverwolf is personally one of my favorite characters. I even played for her event. She's freaking cool. She's fun. And she's a bit of a gremlin. That's all I can say. Other than that, I really like Bailu because she's a healer and a resurrector.
Yeah. Personally, for me, it's such a pretty lengthy list, but I have to say, like, well, off the top of my head, it's obviously Himiko. It obviously is Himiko. Like, I won't even act like it isn't Himiko. But next to that, I mean, honestly, I like March 7th. I actually think she's a decent character, and I like that they're actually going for more of having her own story. Next to that, I mean, Jinyuan I like a lot. Yukong I like a lot. Dr. Ratio, Dr. Scarellum, actually, even though he's not a playable character, he's actually I actually kind of like him decent enough.
Yeah.
Next to that, I mean, Welt, Bronya, Clara, Hook, Bailu, like you said. Like, a lot of these characters are, like, really likable, and it's just, it feels like it feels like with a lot of these characters, there's so much more to be had, and honestly, I didn't think I would actually enjoy Gwenephen as much as I did.
Yes!
Like, because I was giving off the impression when I first saw her, oh, this is just a Logan Paul kick streamer type deal. But no, she actually has a legitimate personality outside of streaming. She actually doesn't like when minors watch her content. And even though, yeah, she does some stuff for the sake of content that is kind of questionable, at the same time, her actions are backed by by this game's equivalent of the church and the government. She's actually she's actually a pretty decent. I think I mentioned this to you. She's basically Tom Scott.
Yes.
She's basically Tom Scott, and I really, it's just like, I like that this game actually has a positive example of a streamer that, you know, kind of an IRL streamer that isn't incredibly inconsiderate about the real world or inconsiderate about normal life, and knows that ultimately, I like how she draws the line between it being a genuine job and it being real life.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In terms of like other characters I like, I really like Jin Liu and Jin Yuan. Not because they're voiced by Monarch and Sayu, but because I really am interested in their story. I'm also really interested in Dong Heng's story and how he's like a resurrected version of Dong Feng or the Viper Lune.
Yeah. Honestly, I would say that ultimately, it's interesting how there's a number of characters that are either like dead or thought to be dead that are playable characters to me. On one hand, I want to question the consistency of the canon and everything, but on the other hand, also, I mean, a lot of these characters are really good, so I don't really care.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I mean, personally for me on Jing Liu, I'm waiting for a mod where she gets replaced with the Toad voice, and then I'll like her.
Yes! What better than Monarch doing the Toad voice?
Let's go, bitches! But yeah, ultimately, in regards to the characters, I mean, like, I do like a lot of that. I mean, for example, Bailu, I'm honestly kind of interested quite a bit because I think what interested me most is just, canonically, she's basically an adult that's self-reincarnating and in the body of a child. I don't know, I actually think that's interesting and fits more with, like, this niche idea of, like, sort of, like, you have these different characters from different worlds and different rules apply to the idea of, life and everything. Like, and even, like, I was kind of curious, like, I was kind of curious in the grand scheme of things. It's speculated that pretty much Bailu is, like, I think in her 20s or 30s. Like, because I was half expecting oh, she's 1,000 years old. No, she's, like, legitimately, like, 20s or 30s. She's, like, legitimately like, in her 20s and 30s. She's just basically cloned herself. And I think that's, like, really interesting. I think that legitimately is interesting. And I think that, like, stuff like that throughout the game, I really enjoy, and I really enjoy seeing. But yeah, and I guess since we've kind of been beating around the bush ultimately, but let's talk about the biggest quote-unquote controversy on this, and that is Genshin Impact versus Honkai Star Rail.
Oh my god.
You want to go first?
Yeah. Okay, so, like, you can obviously tell that ever since it came out, who's the better child of Hoyoverse?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm not even kidding. Ever since it came out, Hoyoverse is like, okay, Genshin Impact, come on the spotlight, it's time for Honkai Star Rail to shine.
Why can't you be like your little brother?
Exactly. You can obviously tell, and because, like, what I've heard, basically, they literally hired, like, Gen Zers, my generation, to, like, help write with the story. We can tell by the jokes and the, obviously the rickroll in the...
Yeah, there's a fucking rickroll, there's like a reference to Star Fox.
Yes! You
Yeah.
can tell how much Hoyoverse really likes Honkai Star Rail over Genshin Impact.
Yeah, and I think even the CEO says he favors Honkai over Genshin.
Yeah, especially even before, like, it came out, they favored Honkai Impact Third over Genshin.
Yeah.
And I tried out Honkai Impact Third, and and I'll say this, way better than Genshin. Way better than Genshin!
Yeah. I would have to go back and play it. But yeah, I remember it being pretty decent and honestly pretty fun. But
yeah.
So yeah, I have already said my piece all about what I think about Genshin, but personally, when it came to Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail, like, I think the biggest thing is just, for me personally, is the, like, just, it's just, like, the difference in terms of, like, how far Genshin has come, because it feels legitimately, like, favorite child aside, it feels legitimately like Genshin Impact was this action RPG. It felt like free-to-play Breath of the Wild. Then it became free-to-play Fortnite with anime pussy.
Yes.
That's what's become. It is like, cause I didn't even realize this until Fortnite came out with a racing mode and I checked it out, but no, it's like Genshin Impact has all these different, like, game modes, and it's just like, it is this echoed sentiment of, like, it's this game, like, where Honkai Star Rail, the one thing I like about Honkai Star Rail, above all else, especially, and this is something I really feel like, I don't care who wants to back it, Genshin Impact needs to do this. I love the fact that in Honkai Star Rail, the previous limited time events are just there after the end, and you can just go ahead and collect the rewards and do the story, because a lot of them have story significance to them. Like, for example, the whole cats and creating them in cakes and everything, like, that has a significance to the space station, and that has, like, and it's also a cute event that I really question why the fuck these cats are edible instead of just having it be, like, a trophy to put into the Express or something.
I was hoping that they will be, like, sort of like, in a way, they will follow you around.
Yeah, it's just like, or like, hell, even like the fucking, in comparison to Genshin, even like a fucking like Seela, or a Sealy, where it's just like, it's this little, it's just a little icon that follows you around and everything. It doesn't really do anything, but it just follows you around. Just travels on your shoulder or something. But yeah, when it comes to Genshin, it doesn't matter. Dragon Spine, the number of other Chinese New Year events, the Windbloom Festival, Golden Apple Archipelago, like, all these different events that are tied to either the story or even tied to the actual individual characters are forever gone. They're like forever lost. They're forever lost because Genshin Impact doesn't want to do that, because that's not the intention of the game. The intention of the game is to make you feel like if you don't do all of this stuff, you are missing out. And so they don't want to have all these different events backlog. They instead just want to have them legitimately be limited time events that you can't come back to, aside from the Lantern Rite, because that's Chinese New Year. They're gonna have to do it. But that's one of the biggest criticisms I have of Genshin Impact, is that the events feel... It's not that the events are terrible overall. There's some really good events, but they are so time-gated. They're so... They expect you to not only be on with the game since day one, they not only expect you... Because the thing about a lot of these events is, last time I played, pretty much... A lot of these events, much like Honkai, were like world level gated or sort of like account level gated. So even if you were having, even if you had a new account and everything, if you weren't in time, you just basically like you basically missed out on all these different events. So like, it's just, it feels so... It feels like a smack in the face to anybody who legitimately wanted to play this game and wanted to get invested in this game and everything. It's just like... It feels like... Especially considering this is the same company, it feels like they can legitimately, like... They have the technology. The answer is right in the palm of their hands, but they just, for whatever reason, don't want to fucking do it. And it's just... like, out of everything, it's just, I just don't like the fact that out of everything, the people that are, I don't even think they're playing it. The fact that the people that are just, like, backing this game are trying to constantly defend this day in and day out. And if you say anything bad about Genshin Impact, it doesn't matter what. Hell, there was a fucking, oh my god, there was a fucking person who... Like, okay, so a while back, to those that don't know, there was this video that came out called, like, The Toxic World of Genshin Impact. And it's a really good video that highlights a lot of the negative shit that has come out around Genshin Impact and the community specifically. And someone was so pissed off that they went out of their way to make one YouTube video that was in response to that. And everything they said was baseless, out of ignorance, and pretty much completely counteracted their own, like, logic and everything. It was just, they were so pissed off that they wanted to try and be right, and they were just to the point of gaslighting, and it boggles my mind how many hoops the people in that community will fucking go to in order to try and defend the game from the oh-so-terrible Hitlers of the enemies of the Genshin fandom, which is basically just people who say, yeah, this game has problems, it can be better, and Honkai Star Rail is a prime example of how this could be better.
Yeah.
Instead of actually taking a step back and thinking about where this game could be going, instead they just would rather decide... Instead, they would rather decide to put their fists up and have Fireflight and try to harass anybody who has even the slightest opinion against this game. And it's just, like, it's fucking exhausting. Like, hell, I fucking got shit for deleting my account, honestly. Like, I legitimately, when the interview came out saying that pretty much Endgame was not coming and all this stuff in Genshin Impact was just gonna be just what it has been, what they have been doing, it's just gonna continue to be doing for the foreseeable future, I was like, yeah, I'm done. I complete my account. I had people telling me, like, oh, I bet you're not going to delete your account. You're probably gonna come back and insert patch here for the next one. Now it's just like, alright, bet! And a month later, my account was gone. And then I had some dumbass who, I actually double-checked this video. I actually made that comment on of deleting my account. They apparently deleted their thread of trying to frame me as if I was a hater of Genshin the entire time. They deleted that thread, and gee, I wonder why. Maybe it's because they realized how much of a fucking cunt they were acting towards me, and they realized that, no, he actually, he seemed to actually enjoy this game, and he had problems with it, and maybe it was me who was the problem. And it's just like, if the conversation was geared towards that from the beginning, we wouldn't really be having much of an issue, but no. Genshin Impact fans have to be fucking... have to be children about this and throw tantrums when they don't get what they want.
Yeah. I haven't really played Genshin in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't really gone up to, like, deleting my account yet. Only because I wasted a lot of time just, like, trying to get a singular character that I really wanted to get because her design looks cool.
Yeah.
But yeah. Genshin fans are on a whole nother level when it comes to, like, that.
Yeah. And just, like, it's more prevalent, especially nowadays with the new update and an update in Honkai Star Rail and them giving a free 5-star. The amount of, like, copium some of these fans are, like, huffing in order to try and, like, jump through so many hoops in order to be able to justify why Genshin is better than Honkai Star Rail. It's just like the consistent defense I've heard from people in regards to the free 5-star in Honkai is, well, I mean, we have Aloy, so she's basically a free 5-star. First off, she's a worse version of Klee. She is a worse version of Klee. Absolutely. And the reason why I say she's a worse version of Klee is because at the very least, Klee has fucking constellations. She absolutely has constellations, and she can actually be used in a lot more interesting team comps. The only reason why people use Aloy is, one, just to prove that Genshin is not said and done with in the grand scheme of things with a lot of people, and two, just for content. That's pretty much it. Some people can go, well, I actually maxed out my Aloy and everything. Yeah, good for you. I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know, Kaya, the free 4-star that the game just gives you at the beginning of the game, could probably handle what you're doing in the game, but better. I'm pretty sure Amber, the free 4-star the game gives you in the game, could handle the job of Archer a lot better. But yeah, sure, go ahead and continue huffing that copium. Oh my god. It is, like, it's just the amount of antagonizing the number of Genshin fans go through this is just, it's not even unbelievable, it's just fucking, it's just annoying and tiring at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I am.
it's-
Yeah, I'm just generally tired of people just like go like, "Oh, this game is not better than Genshin." Meh, meh, meh. I'm just like, I'm just gonna stay away from all that and just play my
Yeah.
games how I want to.
At this point, I am hoping for stuff like Project Mugen, Zentless Zone Zero, Wuthering Waves to come out, not necessarily because I am hoping for Genshin's downfall, because above all else, I will say, criticisms aside, Genshin is actually a pretty decent game. Like, my problem personally doesn't lie with Genshin Impact itself. My problem doesn't lie with the fandom who go out of their way to, like, spend their time after school or after work, like, just leveling up the characters and spending time with their friends on Discord. My problem doesn't lie there. My problem is the Genshin Impact equivalent of Facebook vegans in this game.
Yeah.
Genshin Impact fans to gacha games are like... Genshin Impact, like, the vocal minority of Genshin Impact fans to the fandom are like ISIS to Islam. There are a number of people there's a handful of people that have gotten way too far and taken the entire thing and everything just way out of hand, and now they decided to target people that, in the grand scheme of things, didn't deserve it.
Yeah. Just like... Yeah, no, I agree with you there. Just,
Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to, like, avoid, like, Genshin fans altogether.
Yeah.
Otherwise I'll get literally pummeled and just, like, get spammed with, like, hate.
Yeah, and I am half expecting people who see this on Genshin Impact to find my old Twitter account and go, "Hey, Sozo, kill yourself, you fucking cunt." Not realizing that, motherfuckers, I left Twitter almost over a year ago due to people dragging VTubers across the fucking board due to a fucking video game and pedophilia. So, good luck on that. And also, well, what if we just attack you on YouTube? Bitch, I moderate these fucking comments. You got nothing on me. And it's just like, well, what if I find your Discord and DM you that way? Man, you really don't know. You really don't know my lengths to how much of a fucking I don't have to take this shit I can go through. Fucking, oh my god, it's just, and it's just the only reason why I think these people are doing it to begin with, instead of actually like playing the game, or instead of actually trying to, I don't know, just even in terms of, look, if you like the game for what it is and everything and playing it, fine, okay. Go ahead. If you're enjoying it, I'm happy for you. But if you're trying to justify why you like the game and everything to other people, to me, what that says is that tells me not why you enjoy the game. That tells me why you want other people to think you enjoy the game. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to a game, games like these, and you're trying to justify how good it is, to when the game already had a major success over the years in the grand scheme of things, the question becomes, in regards to games that are ultimately objectively better than this, the question becomes, if you have to justify it, who are you really justifying it for? Is it the people who have understood that this game is either not for them, or this game has been a disappointment and move on to other stuff? Or is it for yourself and your fragile ego?
Yeah.
Speaking of... I'm sorry, go on.
You can go.
No, go on. No, you can...
Yeah, I agree with you there. And good luck trying to find me. I don't have any social media other than Twitch.
Speaking of the grand scheme of things among all this, I think we can, we gotta talk about the elephant in the room in the grand scheme of things, and that is Tectone.
Oh boy.
I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna ask the legitimate question here. What the fuck did he do that was so bad?
I really know.
Exactly. Now, I'm gonna ask a different question. What the fuck did Sniper Wolf do that was so bad?
Oh. They really doxed someone, still doxed someone. Just for criticism.
Dox someone just for criticism, okay. What the fuck did Yandere Simulator... What did Yandere Dev do wrong?
Room. I don't know.
The story is he was being very inappropriate, and he has recordings of this being very inappropriate to minors.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to remember.
Tectone. You want to know what I think he did that was so, like, so evil, so unfathomably, unspokenably just despicable?
What?
He spoke his mind about video games. That is literally all that is. They spoke his mind about video games. He voiced his opinions about Genshin Impact, and the fandom decided ultimately he is the spawn of Satan. Next to that, he talked about how this goes like way before Genshin 2. I actually had to find this out because I picked up on him back when back in 2019 or 2020 when I was into Arknights. I found his content through that, and I was like, okay, so and I found out why he quit. And ultimately, he was treated poorly by a number of people on the official Arknights Discord and everything, and he just didn't feel welcome in the grand scheme of things. And next to that, there was also a number of times where he said that he's ultimately gotten copped out by the game and everything, and so he just wanted to leave. Then there was like Summoner's War. He got under fire for shit that ultimately didn't happen there, and people labeled him as infamous for that. And then Genshin Impact. He, again, went out of his way to criticize the game and everything, and he's made his voices heard and everything, and to the point where now it's just like he is considered to be like the spawn of Satan, because people take anytime people actually are in support of Tectone, anytime people have said anything, people write them off. People try to harass and contact and harass these different content creators and everything. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just like, if you ever like talk about Tectone in regards things, you're basically like no better than him, and you deserve to be like dragged across the fucking platform. And it's just like, the one question I have is, literally, the dude is living his life. He's playing games he enjoys, he's speaking his mind, he's talking with people he legitimately wants to talk to, and on top of that, he's also just like having a good time and everything on his own platform. So if he's supposed to be the incarnation of Satan or whatever, he's supposed to be the big bad person on the internet and everything, what does that make the number of people that have thought it's best to harass, stalk, and dox and tell all these different content creators who are doing nothing wrong to kill themselves? What makes that group of people who don't want to be held accountable?
I don't know.
It's fucking like, honestly, in the grand scheme of things, until the day comes where I actually legitimately hear there is stuff that he has come under fire for, and he actually is like guilty of it and everything. When that day actually comes, then I'll change my opinion on him. But until then, I'll say this right now. If anyone wants to send this to Tectone and anything, I'll say this first off. Hi, Tectone. Like your videos. Second off, if you want to, like, collab or something, if you want to reach out and collab or whatever, like, my email is open and you can feel free to, like, holler at me and we might be able to work something out in terms of schedule. Like, because I'm more than willing to have, like, a discussion with you, even if it is just, like, I don't know, just a discussion about, I don't know, internet memes or whatever. I don't give a fuck. But, yeah, just, yeah, there. I'll throw that out there. There's an open invite if he wants to, like, reach out to me and everything and say, hey, do you want to, like, just come on a podcast or whatever. It's just like, if he wants to do that, my door is open for him. You can feel free to do that. But yeah. Yeah, it's impossible to talk about these two games without talking about that dude, because he's for whatever reason, he's a point of contention for this fucking community.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on that note, ultimately, I think we can wrap it up here. So are there any final thoughts about Honkai Star Rail?
It's fun. Have some small gripes with it, but I enjoy Silver Wolf. Keep putting her in events. Okay, thank you, Honkai-verse.
Okay. Personally for me, depending on where this game goes and everything, all I just hope is that it continues to be, at the very least, it continues to be what it has been for the foreseeable future, and that is a turn-based strategy game with a lot of characters with unique abilities and everything. And I just really hope at the end of the day it doesn't feel like my time was wasted upon playing this. That's what I really feel. But yeah, ultimately that is going to do it. Again, if you are, to those who are not brain dead enough to send me harassment and everything, well, for one, I should probably already tell you, yeah, you should already know better and not harass anybody. I think that should be, that shouldn't have to be said, but apparently it fucking does. Don't harass anybody. Don't, legitimately. But next to that, I mean, if you wanna, like, if you wanna know my social media, I mean, you can follow me. You can follow me on Twitch. You can subscribe to me on YouTube. I got Instagram. I got an Artstation for my portfolio and everything. And if you want to support me financially, ko-fi.com/theartsocialsha, and I'll accept a number of donations there. So yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it. So thank you all so much, and I hope you all take care, and peace.